What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Sports Biz Report, Season 2, Episode 9. Mike Proska here. Today, I'm joined by Greg Monforte, and we're going to do something we don't usually talk about here. We're going to talk about CrossFit and sort of the business model they use and how it's really grown in the past couple of years and sort of what's going to happen in the future. So, I'm joined by Greg. He actually works at a CrossFit gym in Center City, CrossFit Supercharged, and it's owned by Daddist. So he participates in all that. So he's got some background information we can talk about Rich Froning, but let's be honest, he's just sort of a freak athlete. So getting started, CrossFit started with Greg Glassman, and if anyone wants to read a story about him, he dropped out of college. Went to multiple colleges, just dropped out. Became a trainer and just started doing these ridiculous workouts of the day, and it sort of just took off from there.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy to think just from what I've seen with different CrossFit gyms in the area, especially CrossFit Supercharged and the other ones like CrossFit Center City, all the ones in Philly. The gyms are pretty nice and pretty big now. And it's funny that it started in garages, and just no one would have thought it would get to where it is today. It started just a few people doing, like you said, the workouts of the days in the garage with whatever they could find. Now it's turned into this big business with ESPN hosting filming the CrossFit games, and it's incredible.
Yeah, and I think I would say it started around 2000, but no one really heard of it nationally. And last year, in 2012, the revenue totaled at $50 million. And this past year, 2013, it was over $100 million. So it's a market that's always going to be there, I feel, because it's working out, staying healthy, it's being fit, but it's sort of taking a different approach to it.
Yeah, I think it helps with the CrossFit Games being on TV, because like you just said, everyone likes to work out. Working out's never going to go out of style. People are always going to want to. So that's what's going to help them sustain their business for a while. But I think what really helps them is the emergence of these CrossFit Games athletes that everyone can now emulate. Mm-hmm. Now that they see this person that is on TV and doing these ridiculous things, they want to try to be that person, like Rich Froning or Anna Sorstan. I forget how you say her last name, but the girl that won CrossFit Games 2 years ago. People want to be those people, just like in any other sport. And that's definitely going to help with their business.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, People see the Rich Fronings, the Jason Kalipas, the Josh Bridges, who are doing these 50 pull-ups in under a minute, and and then they look at them and they're like, oh, I don't look like that, and that's good for the brand, but it's interesting because CrossFit as a business is not looking for new streams of revenue, new areas to increase their revenue. They're actually, it's interesting because, when the business is growing, in our world today, you're going to see that corporate greed, and they're completely taking the opposite. They want to protect their brand and not make sure it changes into just chasing money, chasing sponsorship deals. And that's something I find interesting because you think about it, if they're not getting these sponsorships, they have Reebok, that's it. All their money comes from the affiliates, and that's something that I find real interesting.
Yeah, I agree. It's a different kind of business model because they're just making their money off of people that open the CrossFit gyms and are affiliated with CrossFit. And they have, Rogue is the big, fitness provider. They have rock tape and the different types of tapes like that. But for the most part, they're not big in the sponsorships. They just want to help people. They want people to get more in shape, change their lifestyle, and just be helpful. They don't really care as much about making money. The individual affiliates might, but the owner of CrossFit in general does not feel the same way.
Yeah, I think it's $3,000 a year for the affiliate paying to CrossFit, and in 2012 they had about a little over 6,000, and now they're over 10,000. So it's still revenue, and it's still increasing. So that's definitely where they make it. And then also they certify their trainers. And I read every weekend they have these seminars.
And they sell out so fast.
They sell out.
I want to say it's about $1,000 for $1,000 for each one. And there's two levels. Level 1, which is the basics, and level 2 when you're a pretty serious trainer. Usually at a gym, any of the trainers will be a level 1 instructor. And then the better ones, the head trainer, usually is the level 2. And if you think about it, if they're selling out this seminar every weekend, that's, let's say, 50 to 100 people, that's like $50,000 to $100,000
Weekend.
a weekend.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's every weekend, and they're always sold out because there's always people that want to advance their own careers by becoming a CrossFit trained person. So with those two business models, if they can sustain it, you can make the money right there. You don't need the sponsors.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't care about trying to get that like extra revenue and he just is fine with this, he can still sustain that business model pretty long.
Yeah, I agree. I think one factor that might have the ability to change that is they're often hit with lawsuits regarding health because a lot of time, a lot of people are saying it's such a different kind of workout, so fast paced. There's a lot of injuries, but it's funny. They have like these two guys on their social media. They work on social media, and if they see something that's like coming at CrossFit, they are like clockwork responding with a study they've done that it's like not CrossFit. It's really interesting.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. I think the article came out maybe in like October or September about Rehibido, or the big disease that's supposed to be affiliated with CrossFit.
Yep.
But just because it happened a few extra times at CrossFit and it's this rare disease, but those things happen when the person isn't doing what they're supposed to do. It's not CrossFit's fault. If you're doing the motions how you're supposed to and you're being taught by a good instructor, which they're all certified so they know what they're doing, you'll be fine. It's just people get scared because they see this one article that rips the business about, you can get hurt and this can cause you to die, like Rehibido. But it's really not true. You got to read more into it. All the CrossFit instructors and coaches and people that I've read talking about that article have said it's very rare still, and it's people that aren't doing the movements how they're supposed to.
Yeah, and it's funny. Glassman even said in an interview he did when he's training people, he says, "You can die from this. You do it or you're gonna die." And like you don't see that a lot today, where someone's just straight up with you in business. Tell it as it is.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna, just be who you are. And that's what I like about him. I like about his model, and I think even though he's not looking for these new streams, I think CrossFit will continue to grow in the future.
I think so too, especially with a lot of people getting into that whole extreme fitness, like mud run challenges, the whole Tough Mudder, Spartan race, Warrior Dash. All those races are making people want to get more in shape, and a lot of those people do CrossFit on top of that. So they see these CrossFit athletes go to these ridiculous things like Tough Mudder and dominate, and then other people want to do that. So I think a big part of the CrossFit business is like word of mouth. You see these people talk about it because that's what's big in CrossFit. The CrossFit, for lack of a better word, kind of becomes culty. And like once you love it, and that's all you talk about. And people they buy all the equipment you need. You see them with their high socks, they're like cool colored shoes, and they just enjoy what they do. And they tell people that they enjoy what they do, and that makes other people want to try it out. And then once you try it out, like you said earlier, I work at one, and the energy you feel from the class is nothing you've ever felt. Like with martial arts and things like that, it's a little slower. Like it's still fun, but you can just feel the energy coming from that class, and it's just a lot of fun, and it's working out.
Well.
Yes, community, exactly.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's not really a sport; it's more like a way of life, and
it's how they market it.
They market that way, but they also have the competition base of it with their games, which are on ESPN every year. So, it's a good business concept and not one we see often, especially in sports. You see the NFL; it's greed, greed, greed. The NCAA is supposed to be about higher education learning, and they're just chasing more revenue. So, hey, CrossFit's not the biggest, but maybe they're doing it the best way.
Yeah, it's even different than normal gyms, because normal gyms will try to outprice the other one and get you to come here. CrossFit, it's more, oh, you do CrossFit? That's cool. Where do you do it? And everyone is in the CrossFit community. With a gym, it's like, oh, I go to LA Fitness, and I like that better than Planet Fitness or Sweat Fit. Like, all the different gyms. Like, you have your own gym, and you like that one. With CrossFit, it's like, oh, I go to this gym, but that's really cool that you go to this gym. There's not as big a rivalry until you get to the games when it's people competing. But as a whole, it's, you just want to, you do CrossFit, I do CrossFit, that's awesome.
And then I think the last point I just want to make is they've done such a good job of mobilizing their workouts. Like you can be on, you don't have to go to the gym. Like maybe you're on vacation, maybe you're out on work, doing something, and all the workouts are online. So as you said, it all comes back to like sort of that community basis, and you sort of feel like And maybe there's going to be a day you're not going to want to do it, but someone's going to make you, someone's going to get you going.
That's cool, too. Like, they share everything online so anyone can find out. Even if you don't go to that gym, you can go home and do the workout. Like, there's websites that I've been to that are, like, travel WODs. I mean, if you're not home and you have no equipment, there's still WODs you can do. There's the WODs, like...
WODs, by the way, are workout of the day.
Yeah, sorry, I don't remember if we said that in the beginning, but that's, like, what they call their big workout for every day is a WOD. And, like, there's all these certain places, like CrossFit.com post one every night at midnight for you to do the next day. And they're just, like you said, the community aspect with it, I think that's what makes people, they try these WODs by themselves at home, and they want to go and actually be doing it with a trainer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. But, I mean, we're going to wrap it up here. CrossFit, it's growing, it's a business, and it's working in a world of greed without being greedy.
Mm-hmm. And it's always fun to try out. Like, if you ever get a chance, most gyms will let you try out a class for free. Might as well try it. You might not like it, but you got a free workout out of it. So.
Yep. If you're in Philadelphia, go down to CrossFit Supercharged, hit up Greg, and he'll get you started.
Nice little shameless plug there, but you're more than welcome to do that.
All right, for Greg, that is it for the Sports Biz Report. We will see you next week.